You can win by points, but it's a lot better to win by knockout. Okay, so if you have this killer feature,
Nice.
if it's possible, you should hope, you should try to find this killer feature.
This podcast is powered by IAMOps.io. Optimize your cloud infrastructure and CI/CD process with IAMOps.io dedicated DevOps team. Check out www.iamops.io and get a DevOps team now. Welcome to our series entitled the IAM Podcast, a podcast about innovation, business, and most importantly, people. In this series, we'll be talking to founders, executives, and various experts about their vision, challenges, best practices, and lessons learned throughout their journey. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the IAM Podcast. I am Mariah, your host, and today with me, the VP of Product at RightBound, Uri Tzikoni. Hi, Uri.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be on this podcast.
It's my pleasure to have you. You know, I remember that day I messaged you. I congratulated you because you've been a part of this product league, right? As a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in that product community. So, yes, first, please tell us, the listeners, about that journey. Why did you do that?
Okay, so I think that I'm in a product position for, probably 10, 12 years now. And I must say that I had some difficulties when I started to be a product manager. And there was someone there to help me. So I decided later on that, if I got help from someone, I should contribute also if I have the option to do that, to help, the new generation or the less experienced products out there and help them, in this product world. So I decided to join as a mentor to the product league.
Great. It's like, what do you call that movie? Pass it forward.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yes.
Yes.
So how's the experience so far?
It's great. Sometimes you get a better match for the mentees, and sometimes, the match is not that good. I learned that, different people, different mentees are looking for different things. They have different objectives from those mentoring sessions. So I know at least what I'm doing is to kind of like skip the syllabus of mentoring, and on the first date with the mentee, just to understand where he wants to get, what he wants to achieve, what are the milestones, etc., and just build the plan according to what he needs. Some people want more help, like mentoring on their career path. Some wants to understand what company will suit them better. Some people want help with like tactic work of product. Some want help with the strategic work of product, like how to build a roadmap, things like that. So every person has different needs, and we are just starting the mentoring process and taking it from there.
I'm sure we are going to learn a lot of things about product development, because you said you live and breathe production. Your journey to RightBound, can you just share a bit about, how did you get there and what is it about? What are you doing there?
Okay, so just a few words about my career and background. I started probably 20-something years ago as a developer and a development team leader. I was 10 years or so in the development world, and I was in a career path decision junction. I had to take a decision if to continue to be a VP R&D And then I understood that as a VP R&D is, when the team grows, you are not in the execution anymore. You are managing people, maybe managing technologies, but you are not in the details. You are not writing codes, you are not reviewing codes. So you are not in the execution. And I was looking for something that will keep me in the execution, not just in the strategic level. And then I realized that as a product manager, even if you are a VP of product of a large company, you must be in the execution, because otherwise you are not doing your work as you should do. So I decided to switch to product. So about 12, 13 years ago, I started as a product manager. All of my career as a product was in a B2B companies, SaaS companies, most of them in startups. The first startup actually was acquired by a large corporation, a US corporation, and then I worked there for 3 years, and then I realized that corporates are not for me. Startup is my cup of tea. So I continued from that point on. So to work only on startups, and in the past 5-7 years, I'm managing the product department as a head of product, and then a VP of product in a few companies. Regarding RightBound, so I started as a VP of product in RightBound about a year ago, a little bit more than that. What RightBound is doing is helping B2B companies that counting on outbound leads to help them with sourcing and outreaching to those outbound leads. So basically, if you are a B2B company and looking for new customers, you have inbound and outbound. Like inbound is when prospects approaching you, like in your website, filling in a form and submitting a form. This is an inbound lead. And outbound leads is when you are trying to source those leads yourself. So what we do, our customers are coming to us, defining the ICP, the ideal customer profile, which companies are they after, which prospects, like the personas, the relevant personas in those companies. We are doing the search for them. We are kind of like an aggregator of multiple sources of data, companies and prospects out there. So we are searching and sourcing those companies and prospects. We are enriching the data, finding the relevant emails, work emails, phones, work phones, mobile phones, etc. Then we do the outreach ourselves. We have an AI platform that do the outreach. And basically, we are pushing only engaged leads to our customers, to the SDRs or BDRs. So those SDRs, BDRs are getting only engaged leads. Like every morning, they are getting into their system, like Salesforce or Salesloft or Outreach.io, and see like the 10 engaged leads, like hot engaged leads from today that already responded to our emails, field surveys, connect via LinkedIn, whatever. And all they have to do is just to pick up the phone and close the meeting with those already engaged prospects. So it's basically saving them a lot of time. An SDR can do an X3 or X4 work on leads than if he would have done all of this work by himself. So this is what RightBound is doing.
What are the challenges, and what's your differentiation from others in the competition that also does this kind of service?
Okay, so actually, we do have a lot of competition. It's a red ocean out there in our space, but there is no other solution like us that doing everything end to end, from the sourcing through outreach to enrichment and outreach. End to end, there are no solutions that does that. Maybe like a few small solutions. So we have a lot of competitions of some other solutions that doing some of it, like, I don't know, Sales Navigator in LinkedIn, you can search,
Search leads.
Search lead, even better search maybe than what we do, but they don't have the enrichment. You are not getting the emails, you're not getting phone numbers like work phone, direct phones, mobile phones, etc. And they are not doing the outreach for you. So you either have to combine few solutions or you have to do some of the work yourself. So we are the only solution, as far as I know, that do everything end to end.
Very interesting. Okay, I'm sure this is really helping companies, right? Okay, we go to the product part. You being the VP of product and your experience, first you said you want the execution part, right?
I like the execution part because, I like to be hands-on. I like to be connected to the product, to the customers, to the people in the company, to the developers. I do handle the strategic, decisions as well. As part of my role with your product, I also need to deal with the strategy. But I really want to be also to spend part of my time in the tactic world. So I'm trying to combine them. So I don't know. This is I was looking for a position that will allow me to combine my capabilities in both the strategic and the tactic areas. But actually, the tactic are more exciting to me than the strategic.
Where do you get that? I mean, how to be strategic, how to be innovative, like, what do you do? Yeah, how to create a great product?
So I think it's a combination of a lot of things, and maybe I can list some of them. So first of all, you have to have a real need, like something that someone really need, something that needs a fix, something that needs someone to. It's not like a vague need or something. It should be something real, okay? And the second thing, it should be a need that someone is, maybe it's a real need, but someone is actually willing to pay money for it. Because there are real needs out there, but people don't want to spend money on. So you can develop a solution for a real need, but if no one pays for it, then you don't really have a product that succeeds. The solution should be clear and should answer the needs. Like if you have clear need, you should have a clear solution for it. And if you want to have a great product, your product should provide a very clear need, a very clear solution to the clear need that you have identified. I think we also should have develop a solution that it will be sticky, something that the customer will have hard time to part from. It will be hard for him to say, okay, we have difficulties now, maybe, I don't know, budget issues, things like that. So, okay, we can stop with that. Obviously, you cannot. It's hard to find something that people cannot live without. But you can try and make it harder for them. You should, as a product, you should make it harder for them if you want your product to be sticky. And maybe I will, as I mentioned, there are a lot of things, but I will mention just one more thing. Find the killer feature that will stick. The one feature that customers will say, well, for this feature, it's worth the money for me to buy or to keep this product, because there are a lot of products out there that solving like many needs, and you can win by points, but it's a lot better to win by knockout. Okay, so if you have this killer feature,
Nice.
yeah, if it's possible, at least you should hope, you should try to find this killer feature.
I like that. You said win not just by points, but win by your killer knockout.
Yeah.
Okay. Like in RightBound, it's from end to end. You're the only solution that provides that end-to-end solution to customers.
Yeah, actually, the thing that I liked a lot in RightBound is that the need is super clear because, customers are looking for a new customers, for prospect. The need is super clear, and, they are all go to find those outbound leads. And they are having a hard time today to manage those outbound leads. It takes a lot of time. They are not getting to the relevant prospects, etc., etc. And we provide a very clear solution for that. That we also save them a lot of time because we are doing all the work for them, and those people are only, like the SDR needs to deal with engage hot leads, and we also manage to find a lot of leads and prospects for them that they will not be able to find by themselves. So the solution is very clear, like a very clear solution for a very clear need. And by the way, we are not a cheap solution. We are a very expensive solution, but still, since it's fairly easy to calculate the ROI in here, so the customers are willing to pay for it.
Yes, find the product that your customer is willing to pay for that knockout feature. Okay, yeah. So before the knockout feature, before a great product, you commit mistakes. You make mistakes. So please share with our listeners, of your 13 years of experience as a VP of product, like you have encountered in the product field.
So I guess if I will have to list down all the mistakes that I did in the last 13 years, we will need another 13 years just to talk about them. Okay, but maybe I can highlight like the 2-3 common mistakes that I think like products people do, and I will focus in startups because, as I mentioned, like startups is my world. It's different, the stages of the company. One can make different mistakes. So I think the first mistake that the product managers do is when a startup is trying to get to a product market fit, they can go in two separate ways. Obviously, it's like 50 shades of grays. In between there is a spectrum, but you can either go and select your specific need with a specific solution, and go for it, to the end, and really try to provide a very, very good solution for that specific problem. The pro in this is that you are, if you got the need right and you got the solution right, then you have a unicorn, you have a winning product. The con in that is that if you didn't get it right, the need is not the real need, and your solution is not a good solution, then maybe you risked too much. Okay, you put all your eggs in one basket. Okay, the other way is try to pop up small balloons, many small balloons. You think maybe they have this need, maybe they have this need. So you're trying to develop a small solutions to various needs. So again, the pro in that is that you have a vast a spectrum of needs that probably one of them will stick eventually. But the con is that you are not investing enough in the solutions for those needs. So the customer that actually you're handing it over to the customer, and the customer is trying that, and he has not been able to provide you a real feedback regarding the solution because the solution is not complete. You only have like halfway of the solution. So the customer says, well, I think it's okay. It sounds right, but then you don't know if it just sounds right because you didn't invest enough in that or because it's not. So, okay, so you can go either way. In my eyes, if you have to choose, you have to do like a due diligence, you have to do a lot of investigation in the beginning, pick your direction and stick to it, stick to what you believe. Like it's a high risk but high gain. I'm not saying no to pop up those small balloons. You can invest some of the resources in that as well, but you have to have a strategy and you have to stick to your strategy, prove it or prove it wrong, and then switch to something else. I saw a lot of startups that just, failed because they didn't stick to something, I'm not saying to the end, but at least until a specific point where they were able to prove if it's actually valuable or not. So this is the first mistake that I think big mistake that I think that startups are doing. Maybe the most important one in my eyes. So maybe we can leave it in that.
Okay, so that's the importance of mentors, like whether to switch or to like stick to it till the end, or I like that, like pop up those small balloons. How do you, as a VP or product, advocate or relay your vision to your team?
I think that it's very important to have a vision, but it's also important not like to hang on to that vision. Okay, especially if you are a startup. Yes, you should have a vision, you should aim far, but you should be with the 2 feet on the ground and, have the ability or have the willing to change your mind and change your vision, according to whatever happens in the real world. And in startups, things are fluid and, you have to change things, on the fly. So this is the first thing about vision. I think it's very important to listen to other people, everyone, not just like other executives in the companies, obviously customers, but also, I learned a lot and I got like a lot of ideas from, I don't know, just the developers or a QA person, so, just someone with an idea.
Random
so it's
people.
very important. It's very important to listen, and if someone is giving you an idea or he thinks that something should be or should not be, in that way or that way, you should have understand and explain why you are agree or disagree. Don't just say I disagree. You need to think about that and provide a good answers why you don't agree with that. Start with yourself. Okay, if someone is giving you an idea, don't just say, well, I feel in my gut that this is not the way to go there. Someone else is thinking, thinking about that, in a different direction, or think that it's not okay. You need to convince yourself first that you got it right or not, and you don't want people to stop coming to you with ideas, especially regarding visions, regarding strategy. So, but even for tactics, features, and things like that. So, just you need to be nice, and you need to think it through, and you need to explain people, why you are thinking otherwise. Sometimes you have doubts as a product manager. So yes, you can have those doubts, internally to yourself. But when you are advocating your vision, don't show those doubts. It's not helping anyone. You must be sure on the way that you are in the path that you are taking. Have to make sure that you have objective data as soon as possible and start base your decisions on objective data. Like real data, analytics, feedbacks from customers, etc. Things that you can actually build on, and not just follow your guts. Again, there is a time for and a stage for every strategy. So you start from a subjective usually, but you should move to objective as soon as possible.
I remember what Gabby Diamond, CTO of Deshe Analytics, like he said, okay, deep dive into the numbers because the numbers will tell you the story. So at first subjective, okay, but you have to also look at the numbers, the figures.
Yeah.
How many people are there in your team now?
So my team today has 3 people, except of me. I have 2 product managers and 1 product operation.
Okay, so are you handling experts or are you open to handling juniors in the team?
It's a good question. It's problematic to have junior product managers. I must admit, they all have to start somewhere. I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's problematic. It's not like a junior developer, it's, you want to, if someone is actually handling the product. So it's difficult. Usually I'm not taking a junior product managers, but it doesn't mean that he have to have an experience in the product world. It has to have an experience, but it can come from development. It can come from, marketing or sales. It needs to, I'm looking at candidates, and I did a lot of hiring. I look at candidates in kind of like a different way. Again, it's obviously better to have experience as a product, but what I'm looking at candidates is, first of all, they have to have a will to win and to grow as a person. Okay, it must be someone that stands for its own. Like he has something that he believed in, and I'm testing that in the interviews. I'm trying to contradict him and see if he's caving in or standing on its own. And it's very important to stand on your own, but it's also important to process information and to change your mind if you understand that you are wrong. So it's kind of like a delicate dance between someone that's not afraid to be the devil advocate and to say that he does not agree with you, but he needs to explain why. And he needs to have the capability not to dig in, and it's very important that he will understand, or he will have the will to change his mind if he understands that he is wrong. And some people find it hard to change their minds, and stubborn people, and this is something that we are that I don't like personally. They have to be leaders, proactive, people that actually been able to carry other people, with them. Good listeners, good attention to details, especially as a product. You must be, a good listener. And maybe last thing that I will say about candidates, I really believe in interaction. I know that it's very common in the last few years to give people homework, during the interviewing process. I don't like it. I don't think that it's fair for candidates. They are interviewing to 10 places, and every place tell them, okay, you can just invest 2 hours in that. It's not the case. You are sitting at home half a day or a day try to shine, and it's not fair for candidates. And I also think that if the candidate is investing his time, I should invest my time as well. It's not like a screening process that, okay, he can invest his time at home and I will just, in 10 minutes, I will decide if he's done good or not. So what I'm doing after like 2 interviews, like one with me and one with someone else from the company, I'm inviting the candidate for 2 to 3 hours, a face-to-face meeting in the company, and we are simulating like a real-world situation, how I'm going to work with this product manager in the real world, where we are taking scenario, something that is neutral. It's not something that I'm working on in the day-to-day. It's not like something specific to RightBound. Okay, it can be anything. I don't know. Let's plan, so an application that you can manage your trip with your family abroad. Okay, something like that, something that and I just want to see, the thinking process of this individual and how is going to be my interaction with this person. And this teaches me a lot more than, if he's sitting at home and preparing some Google Slides presentation or something like that. What's
one lesson you want people who will be hearing this episode to take away from this one?
But let's assume that the listeners are product people. I think that maybe the 2 most important advices that I would give to product managers is first, be a good listener, and the second one is base your decision on data. Like make sure that every decision that you are taking is based on objective data if possible, and if not, make sure that you have like a good reasoning behind that. Yes, you can make a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes, but if you have like a good objective data behind it, or if you have a good reasoning behind it, at least you would be able to explain yourself, let's say for R&D, why they have to redo something, or they have to delete some feature or something like that, and you would be able to explain to yourself or to learn from that what went wrong. Because if you are just taking a decision, from your gut, then it would be very hard to have a lesson learned from that and improve, for the future.
Please invite all the listeners. How can they connect with you?
Well, they can look me up in LinkedIn. Just search for Uri Tzikoni, Tzikoni, and I'm really happy to connect with people from the product.
Yes. So if you have any questions, anything product related, connect with Uri. Thank you, Uri, and all the best to RightBound.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
This podcast is powered by IAMOps.io. Optimize your cloud infrastructure and CI/CD process with IAMOps.io dedicated DevOps team. Check out www.iamops.io and get a DevOps team now.